Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Evan Dahm. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications for the Edmonton Elks. We appreciate you coming out today. In a couple of moments, the Chair of the Edmonton Football Club Board of Directors, Tom Richards, will come up. He'll provide some brief remarks, and then he will take questions from the floor. We ask that you use the microphone and state your name and affiliation when you ask those questions. So, Tom?
Thanks, Evan. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for coming today. Yesterday, the Board of Directors mutually agreed that Victor Cui would resign his position as President and CEO effective immediately. This was a culmination of ongoing discussions between the Board and Victor, as well as the Board internally, about the future of the club. As a Board, we thank Victor for his contributions to the club and wish him all the best in his future endeavors. Today is a difficult day for everyone within the organization, and I want to stress that the outcome of the last several weeks was not taken lightly by anyone. I would like to personally thank Victor for his professionalism throughout the process as the Board worked to find an outcome that was in the best interest of all parties. Excuse me. In terms of the future, let me first address the immediate management of the club. The Board will not be naming an interim president and CEO today. However, the process to fill that interim position has commenced. We expect to have an interim president and CEO in place within the next 2 to 3 weeks. This individual will be a hire external to our current staff. In the interim, the club's senior management team will lead the club's day-to-day business operations, while Chris Jones will continue to oversee football operations. Until an interim president and CEO is named, I will be available to consult with the senior leadership team and provide guidance as needed. I will also rely on other members of the Board for their expertise to help guide the club. It's important for me to emphasize that we have the utmost confidence in the senior management team here. They will carry on the key business of the club. Committed and talented group who are the engine of the businesses that are within the business that often go unnoticed. I look forward to working with them collaboratively in the coming weeks as we focus on a successful end of the 2023 season. In terms of a search to find a permanent president and CEO, that process will begin shortly. As a Board, we understand the importance of finding the right person to lead our organization back to. We understand the importance of leading the organization back to prominence is really, it's a must. We've got to get this team back on top again. We understand we will not rush the process. We will take the necessary time to commit to making sure we've got the right person in place by the end of the year to guide us towards a successful 2024. In closing, I would like to emphasize that our club has faced unparalleled challenges over the last several years, whether it be a lost season in 2020, shortened season in 2021, or on-field difficulties. It's been a challenge. Been a challenging period for everyone who loves the green and gold. As a proud member of a community, we've always relied on our fans to fuel us. We call on Edmonton to continue their support and join us for one-of-a-kind experiences that are available here at Commonwealth Stadium. We ask that you stick with us as we continue to work towards a return to our winning ways. Edmonton's team, this is Edmonton's team, and we are committed to making it an organization that we can be proud of on and off the field. As is the case with significant organizational change, today's news will result in many questions. I'll do my best to answer those questions, respecting the privacy of all those involved, we look forward to addressing the challenges facing the club. I'll take questions.
Tom, Dan Mars with Post Media. Was Victor offered a chance to resign in lieu of being fired?
Lots of discussions happened, Dan. The board had discussions with Victor, board had deliberations. We then had more discussions with Victor, and both parties decided this is what we should do. So we had an agreement between the two parties that we're going to part ways.
And was the motivation on behalf of the board because the attendance is lagging? Is that the prime concern?
I said, as you'd expect, this decision was not an easy one. We considered a lot of different things that were happening with the team. It was important that we make a decision as a board for the long-term success of the club.
Last one. Do you not feel, though, that the reason people are not attending is because the on-field product is bad?
It's a challenge, Dan. It is. It's tough. But if you're going to any sports event and just hoping for a winning experience, then you're going to be disappointed a lot. We view here as coming to a football game, celebrating with our community, our football team. Win, lose, or draw, we're here to have a good time, and it makes it a whole lot easier if you win every game. But sports teams don't work like that. We still have to play the game.
Tom Ryan Mashog with TSN. When Victor arrived, part of the goal was to try and reestablish a connection that maybe had been lost with fans, right? More engagement, making Commonwealth feel like maybe it used to. What would you say about the job that he did in that regard? Was it enough? And I mean, obviously there were more factors that needed to change too on the field, but what would you say about that goal that was a stated goal of his when he got here?
Yeah, we appreciate all of the efforts that Victor gave, and it's a club that we have to look about to the future, and some of the things that he did worked, some of the decisions that we made as a board didn't work. We're all in this together going forward. Good things we'll keep, other things, well, we'll reconsider. There's nothing specific that I can answer to that. It was a collective decision among a group of people on many issues. Yeah, we would have loved to have the stadium full. But
the wins aren't coming, obviously. There was a change at OC. Now there's a change at the president's position. What would you say about the future of Chris Jones as the guy primarily in charge of the on-field football scenario? I think maybe a lot of fans are wondering about that particular position, because often that's where you see the change made when the results are what they are.
For sure. In any sports organization, if you're starting with losing half your games, that's going to be put under the spotlight, without a doubt. Chris has faced some challenges this year with this young team, for sure. We were starting to see some of the pieces come together, but they're not all together yet. We came out, 22-0 at the half kind of thing, like, okay, maybe these guys have got to. So there are great signs that things are improving on the field. And that's what we're going to, at the front office, that's what we're going to build around, is some positives that are happening on the field, talking about people, having them come out, supporting their community team. And that's what we need. The biggest way we can support our team is to show up for a game. Bring your neighbor, bring your friends.
Ken Austin, CBC, from the board's perspective, what is the status of Chris Jones and his future with the club?
Solid. I'd like to see him win some games, sure, but he knows he wants to win some games too. But right now, that's not a consideration.
Tom, is that the fact that he's solid, is that in part or entirely because of the operations cap in the CFL basically prohibits you from incurring more severance?
It's a difficult limitation that all CFL teams have to deal with. I think there are other teams in the league that are also looking at it. Like if we had a different rule in place, maybe they would make a change. But I've been fortunate enough to be able to talk with Coach Jones and what some of the challenges are that he's dealing with. And again, remembering it's a really young team. And maybe he should have made more changes last year, who knows, to get all of the issues out of the way last year. I don't think anybody, including him, saw where we are today. But confidence remains in Chris Jones to this is the better way for us in the future right now is to keep Chris Jones.
Do you feel the club is in a better position from a year and a half ago? Did Victor Cui leave the club in a better position, or did you not make any progress in the last year?
I think with some areas, in some of his new initiatives, they were great, they were positive. Overall, though, we still have to be concerned with what's happening in the future and where we're going. And that started to drive our questions with him and led to our discussions with him, and hence the decision that we've made today.
Is that a way of saying that this team is in trouble financially?
No.
How large is the reserve fund at this point?
It's on, it's on public record, but if you go in and look at the balances of the trust company, it's in excess of 10 million. So that's more than enough to pay our bills and get us through for sure. Like it's not an issue for me right now, Dan.
What is your forecast loss this year, do you think?
Hate to speculate. If we start winning, it's a whole new, stands get full, people come out. I'm not hiding it. We'd love to see you out. We've got financial concerns. If you come out, that's the best way to support, and it can be a whole new ball game. So.
Slot from Global Edmonton. So you mentioned that obviously winning and losing plays a factor into people attending, but what's gone wrong? Like what else can the organization do to get more people in the stands?
Staff have got to focus on the game day experience. Come and have fun. It's always more fun if you win. But what else is going on at the stadium to have your kids have fun, and adults as well. I mean, I've got a group of friends that we enjoy coming to the game. It's still a gathering experience. I'm proud that it's a community-owned team, and we're here to support our community. The easiest way is coming to a game. I'll come to you next.
Decision with Victor Cui, was it strictly what he did in terms of his job, or were there any concerns with his behavior in terms of off the field, his conduct off the field?
No, it's just this is him doing his job. Right. So
Never, from the organization's perspective, there was never concern about his conduct.
if there was anything that would be a personnel issue, which of course, for every employee's respect, we would not talk about. So I hope you understand that.
Steven Sandler from Canadian Press. Outside of the football team itself, Victor was working to bring a lot of other events to Commonwealth Stadium, working with the city of Edmonton, working with Explore Edmonton on events like the snowboarding event last December. Who kind of takes that over now, that mantle of making sure the stadium isn't just used 8 times a year?
Yeah, so it's a city-owned building, right? And we've got senior staff that are capable to pick up the baton of any initiatives that got started. So I would fully expect that anything that's got some traction, we'll continue to pursue it.
Tom, is there any chance that the interim president becomes the full-time president?
We haven't set a guideline saying, no, if you're going to be an interim, you don't have any opportunity to be a permanent. We haven't set that down. The only thing we did for the internal is just say it's not going to be somebody, on the interim rather, it's not going to be an internal candidate, because we need all the senior management on hands on deck here. So.
Tom Jeringo from Post Media Edmonton. It looks like, Tom, the captain has abandoned ship. Fans have to be wondering why now, and what the heck is going on down there. Do they not deserve more specifics, a better answer than mutual decision and a shrug?
Jerry, I'm sorry I can't give any more specifics to that, and I hope you respect that. It was not an easy decision by the board to come to this conclusion today, but we feel it's the right decision for the club going forward. And I appreciate that's not much of an answer, but we're not going to talk into details of every little thing. So.
I understand the position you're in, Tom. I'll follow up with the question, was hiring Victor Cui a mistake in the first place?
I was on that committee, so it was an interesting call at the time. I don't think I haven't regretted it. He was a new guy with new ideas, and we look forward to something that was refreshing and new. the CFL as a whole had been kind of just doing what everyone else does, and it was pretty much doing the same thing over and over again. We saw that opportunity as, well, maybe there's another way of looking at things, maybe there are better ways of doing it, brighter ideas. So we hired him.
There have been changes over the years at, the coaching position, the management position, now the president's position. I wonder, Tom, respectfully, as a board, the success hasn't been there. What mechanisms are in place for you as a board to kind of self-evaluate and say, we aren't getting the results as the ones caretaking and overseeing this? And what would your evaluation be of kind of the job the board's done and maybe changes that could possibly be made in some of the ways you're doing things?
Fair comment, Ryan. The board is a group of volunteers. We're trying our best. We do care about the team. We have had a structure in place for the board for a long, long time. It's meant to be a governance board. But if things are going wrong, then we need to tap into some of the board members' expertise to help out a little bit. We don't want to have to do that. We want to have the team in place on and off the field that we are governance and we have our nose in, fingers out. Over the last few years, we've had occasion where we've had to help out. We've had to get our fingers in. We would prefer not to. Again, we're a bunch of volunteers, passionate, but we're volunteers. There could be some consideration that, we need to rethink it, but right now, I've got full confidence, in the senior management team, and our group of directors have got such amazing backgrounds of expertise that I know together we're going to move the club forward.
Has there been any consideration by the board pursuing potential private ownership?
No. At this time, I am 100%, and we are 100% committed to community ownership. Full stop on that. As I mentioned before, the best way that we can support our community team is to come to a game, buy a ticket, buy another one. If we want to maintain our community ownership, then we as a community have got to take some ownership and be a part of our future, and it very much includes coming to a game, buying a ticket.
Can I go back to the operations cap just for a sec? Do the salaries of Brock Sunderland and Jaime Elizondo come off the books after the season?
I don't want to guess. I think so. I think we're very close on it. There's not much left, Dan. I just can't remember if there's one more little payment after, so I'd have to get back to you on that. I apologize.
That's all right. Just in terms of the timeline, so I make sure I have it right, for a replacement, you mentioned 2 to 3 weeks you were looking
For an interim,
Yep.
so that's, yeah.
But
Just
in terms of a full-time replacement, you're hoping to have
could be the end of the year.
Okay.
Yeah, and that'll be a much broader search and a much more detailed search for that person.
You say you're looking externally, do you have a profile in mind as type of background that you would like to see?
It's under construction. Yeah, we don't have that completed yet, but it's under construction.
Through this twice in
Yeah.
2 years.
Hopefully I'm better at it this time. I don't know, but yeah. No, it wasn't that at all. I think we hired externally to help us with that. You gotta know what you can and can't do. So the last time, as I suspect this time, we will go external for help in finding our new president CEO.
Just to clarify, the interim position that you're going to hire, you're saying that will be a person that comes in externally?
Yeah.
And then the permanent hire down the road?
Could be internal, external. Yeah.
Tom, are the Edmonton Elks in favor of the CFL's league-wide football ops cap?
We got to play well with our brethren in the league. I don't think people are happy. Sometimes they are happy with it. Sometimes they're not happy with it. I think you'd have to go back in the history of why the rule was created. And I think some teams were just getting a little bit silly on some of their spending. So it was an attempt to, just like a player cap, it was an attempt to, whoa, slow down here. Different structures are governed a little bit differently from an internal standpoint. So we needed to have a rule for everybody to follow. And I do think it was a wise decision. You know, the unintended consequences are if you have personnel turnover too quickly, it's a problem. And we're,
Is it not hard enough to dig out of a hole and get yourself pointed back in the right direction as it is without handcuffing in some instances?
and that's the consequence of the rule, is for this potential outcome.
Do you see this football ops cap remaining in place for the future?
For the immediate future, yeah, I do. I don't see that. And would that be fair if all of a sudden one team has some trouble for a couple of years in a row that they make an exception?
Does it not impact the league in a negative way if one team does?
For sure. Anytime something happens with any team in the league, we need to make sure everybody's strong. If one of them falters, we all falter. And the league has been great with sharing information back and forth and within teams, within management, within governors' meetings. We've been great at sharing stuff. Because I need you guys, my other teams, to be as strong as can be.
How concerned is the league when they see the attendance differences?
Oh, I don't think anybody's blind. I mean, we all, you know, we can all see what's happening. So everybody's concerned. You know, we would be concerned if all of a sudden nobody's showing up to Toronto or Montreal or wherever. We'd all be concerned. So, again, we're all in this together. So.
Any further questions? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate your time today.